Okay, I mean, I usually do fun facts at the beginning of these videos, but really, 1888. What am I meant to say about 1888? What the hell was even happening in 1888? There's no fun facts, okay? I'm sorry. I can't be bothered looking up things that happened in 1888, okay? So let's just move on and let's just take a look at what the first ever football first division table looked like. It has to be said that these 12 teams are rich full of history. I mean, you gotta admit, if you were in the first ever football first division, you're one of the most prestigious clubs in England just for that. And some of these teams have hit the heights that maybe some of the others haven't, and in the current day and age, these teams are in different areas and different positions at the moment financially and in the footballing leagues, but they're all still in the footballing leagues, which is pretty good enough, for me anyway. Maybe if you're a fan of like Notts County or Accrington Stanley, you wouldn't be happy with how the club is right now, but at least you're still in the footballing league system, no? Okay, maybe not. Maybe that's not good enough. Anyway, taking a look at the table, Preston North End, who it looks like everybody played their under-10s team, and Preston North End played their, first team. Preston North End won 18, drew 4, and lost none. Not only that, they scored a hell of a lot of goals, and they didn't concede any. But in terms of scoring goals, everybody scored goals. Everybody at least scored a goal a game. Actually, most people scored more than 2 goals a game. It's like the top 5 scored like 3 goals a game. It seems like back in the day, football was definitely not a defensive game, which makes a lot of sense, actually. It wasn't back in the day. I would know. I was there in 1888 watching these teams, and mate, it was some entertaining football back then. How times have changed. Anyway, moving on. Aston Villa came in 2nd, Wolves in 3rd, Blackburn Rovers in 4th, Bolton Wanderers in 5th, West Bromwich Albion in 6th, Accrington in 7th, Everton in 8th, Burnley in 9th, Derby County in 10th, Notts County in 11th, and Stoke in 12th. So overall, in terms of the current day and age, there's none of these teams have really hit massive heights. You would argue that Everton is probably, at the moment, at the current day and age, in the best position out of any of these clubs, but they're not really that far ahead of the likes of Stoke and West Brom. You have a nice spread of teams all the way through from the Premier League to League 2, so you can kind of shape out where the favourites are here. But without further ado, let's take a look at how these 12 teams will do in the current day and age. Let's take a look at halfway through the season and which of these teams get off to the best start. Okay, so halfway through the season, and it's West Bromwich Albion at the moment who are undefeated in the league, which is quite surprising. Stoke City sit in 2nd with Everton in 3rd, Aston Villa in 4th, Burnley in 5th, Blackburn Rovers in 6th, Preston, who are the champions, in 7th, Derby County in 8th, Wolverhampton Wanderers in 9th, Accrington in 10th, Bolton in 11th, and Notts County, without a win yet, are in 12th position. Overall, not too many surprises. Maybe you would argue that Burnley probably should be ahead of Aston Villa, but again, not too many surprises. The top 3 is pretty much what you would expect, although West Bromwich Albion being undefeated, that is a bit of a strange one. Going into the second half of the season, I would probably expect the top 5 to stay the same, but maybe Burnley and Villa to switch places, and maybe the top 3 to switch a little bit as well, but it'd be interesting to see if West Brom can hang on to this lead. So without further ado, let's take a look at the second half of the season, and let's take a look at which of these teams end up winning the competition. Okay, so at the end of the season, and it's actually Stoke City who have just beaten West Brom to the title by 2 points. West Brom didn't really do too much wrong. I mean, yes, they did lose 2 games, but they were still picking up a lot of results. The problem for them was that Stoke ended up winning 8 of the next 11 games, and they didn't lose a single one, and they just went on an absolute spree on the second half of the season and just picked up the W's against so many teams. Villa ended up coming in 3rd, so they improved on what they were doing, and they ended up beating Everton to the 3rd place spot. Everton, speaking of them, they came in 4th with Burnley in 5th, but Burnley lost less games than both Everton and Aston Villa, so for them it looked like they just couldn't convert some draws into wins. Preston ended up coming in 6th with Blackburn Rovers in 7th, Derby County in 8th, Bolton Wanderers in 9th, Wolverhampton Wanderers in 10th, with Accrington Stanley in 11th, and Notts County, who ended up picking up a win, they came in 12th. In terms of the top goal scorers, it was Morrison for West Bromwich Albion, who was at the top of the table. He got 13 goals, with Bjarnason and Gray picking up 10 goals apiece, and Medine for Bolton Wanderers picking up 8 goals. But that is it. That is the end of today's video, guys, and that is the end of our historic First Division journey. Do you guys want to see this with other countries? Do you guys want to see the historic La Ligas and Bundesligas? If you do, I will have a poll in the top right corner. Click the little eye and let me know if you'd like to see this with other countries. It's completely up to you guys. We don't have to do it. It's just an idea to go back and look back in time in those competitions as well. So that's completely up to you guys, but this has been really fun going back and seeing how the First Division and the Premier League really shaped up going back in time every 20 years. I know it's a big jump and a lot happens in those 20 years. But it is interesting to see the teams that moved in and out of the footballing First Division, and some teams that have fallen from grace, and some teams that really weren't even in the top flight of English football that are now fighting for it today. Football is a hell of a sport, and I think this adventure here has definitely shown that. So if you guys did enjoy this, and if you did enjoy taking a look back in English footballing history, do leave a like on the video. If you're new around here, you can also subscribe and keep leaving your suggestions for future FIFA 17 experiments in the comments section below, guys. But without further ado, I'm not going to waste any more of your guys' time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy today's video. I hope you have a good day. I will see you guys in the next one very soon. Keep it real.